Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Put your audio off, Ravi. Put the audio off. So we are still in Ajnana Khandana, the denial of the ignorance or ignorance denied, that there is nothing called ignorance. If one is tuned, we are in the verse OV number 206. If one is in tune with the truth, one comes to realize that the trio of the dreamer, dream, and the world dream experience is nothing but oneself. So also one comes to know that in the pure self there is no nor known difference. So this is a contradiction. On one hand, you come to know that the self alone is expressing as the triputi, and on the other hand, you come to know that there is no duality possible in the self. This has to be, with this data you are moving ahead. देखतांसी आपणियाते आलिये निदेचे निहाते तया स्वप्ना ऐसे ये थे निहालिता. He says, just as one sees oneself in a dream, the seeing of the self through the triputi is likewise. With the dawn of wisdom, I come to discover that I alone manifest as the waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleeper, and they go back to me, into me, the supreme I. This intuitive knowledge is considered the most supreme authority of knowledge. Understand, this knowledge does not come from the books. You have read it, you will hear it, but it has to happen within you. And this will happen the more silent your mind becomes, the more undisturbed we become by whatever is being erupted in the mind. To that extent, the mind will become silent. And then this, what is given here, that the dreamer and the waker, dreamer and deep sleeper, they go back into me, the supreme I. This becomes a realization. This becomes a revelation. It comes as a revelation. And one day it clicks. Then nobody can take it away from you. Right now we have to remember. Again and again, read again and again. The only way to know the fallacy of the triputi is to come out of it. What is fallacy? The ephemeralism of the triputi. The non-existence of the triputi, the temporariness of the triputi, the mithyatva of the triputi. How many more words I can use? Huh? That they are not the truth, and we live as if, as the seer seen, as the seer, as the hearer, as the experiencer, as the knower, as the waker, as the dreamer, as the sleeper, we are becoming something. That is on account of the triputi. Get out of it. The only way to know the fallacy of the triputi is to come out of it. And what is coming out of it means? Being the witnessing consciousness, which is your natural state. With this intuitive understanding, one discovers that all triputis exist in oneself, then one becomes utterly silent. How beautiful. This intuition is not something which is created. Intuition cannot be created. Intuition comes about as a result of the integration of the mind. And what is integration of the mind? Initially, we used to say integration of the mind was what? Where the thought, word, and the speech synchronize with each other. Now, the integration of the mind is when the mind synchronizes, contemplates, deliberates, ponders over the truth. Then the synchronization comes about. And as the mind is becoming self-reflective, to that extent, the mind is becoming empty of all the data. What does that mean? The I is becoming undisturbed of all that is erupting in the mind. And a point comes where it transcends, or a stage comes where this intuitive faculty suddenly gets sprouts. And this intuitive ability is not for working out where I'm going to be, what that other person is thinking about me, and to assess the world. No, this intuitive ability is with regards to who am I. And that realization that the triputi is not outside the self. Right now, when you are listening and I am talking, we are talking through triputis. And what is the basic premise here? That by listening, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So we are doing Shravanam here. I am also doing Shravanam. See? But Shravanam of what? Shravanam of the words. Words are what? Triputis. So what is the premise at the moment? Only by listening, only by the triputi, only when I am the listener and I am listening to something and the listening experience is taking place, then knowledge takes place. This is a stupid conclusion. This is a foolish conclusion. And when this intuitive knowledge sprouts, then what it is? Then it is that all these triputis are part of the self alone. They are not outside the self. Whether they are there or not there, I don't need the triputis to know myself. This becomes our natural disposition. And that natural disposition, when you are expressing to someone, then you may use these words. Words are same. Right now, you are listening to the words and thinking about it. Later on, whether you think or you don't think, you know. And when someone talks, or there is a discussion, or there is a contemplation, or some text like this or Upanishad comes up, then without losing the plot, you know. See? And that knowledge has not come about due to anything. It is a natural sprouting because of the purification, because of your, and remember all that process. Purification is equal to focus, is equal to concentration, is equal to attentiveness towards the self. And on the flip side, non-disturbance from the world. And that non-disturbance from the world is only possible when we are self-aware. So in this way, the only way to know the fallacy of the triputi is to come out of it. Come out of it means not go to sleep. That is also coming out of it. Come out of it doesn't mean go and take some drugs or drinks. That is also coming out of it. Coming out of it here means remain undisturbed by the triputis coming or going. They are there or not there. You are continuously as the witnessing consciousness. You are the sakshi. With this intuitive understanding, one discovers that all triputis exist in oneself. What does this mean, exist in oneself? From the waves, water's point of view, there are no waves. Then how from self point of view there can be triputis, the waves of triputis? Not possible. So what does it mean? It means that you are the source of all the triputis. Without your presence, the triputis cannot express themselves. Data remains the same, how you look at it. Before, our attention was on the triputis and I with reference to someone. Now your attention is on the witnessing consciousness, you are the sakshi, and the realization that without the self, the triputis cannot express. I am the source. I am the substratum. I am the material. The self, I am here means the self. Self is the material out of which these triputis are there. Without the self, they cannot exist. A few examples are given in the next 5 OVs to emphasize this thought. Nidrastha sukhasani vahize anavahani to satsakayate sani dasha pave. He says, if a dreamer is comfortably carried in a vehicle, is he carried with the gross body? No. A person is sleeping comfortably. He dreams that he is being taken in a vehicle. Does he really go anywhere? Can he really go to another place? In the same way, this pure self, although it becomes the waker, it does not suffer the pangs of the world. Because here the basic premise is just like the dream is a dream, it's an projection of the mind. Similarly, this waking is also a projection of the mind. But because of our wrong angle of approach to this whole waking plane, we are considering ourselves to be the waker. Actually, we are the witness. Likewise, the dreamer and the deep sleeper, all these states are because of this pure I. We saw this in the meditation today, that the witnessing consciousness is undisturbed by the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and the waking world, dream world, and the deep sleep, absence of everything, and the experience of the 3 planes. So without the witnessing consciousness, these 3 planes cannot come up, stay, and go away. See? And that is your truth. And that is who you are. All these states are because of this pure I. The moment this knowledge takes place, the limitations of the waking world or dream world or the absence of the world as in deep sleep state create no impact. Just like when you come out of a dream, the dream does not make an impact on your mind. Whatever, as exciting the dream may be or as fearful the dream may be, when you wake up, after a few seconds, you give 0 value to it. Exactly the same way. Waking up from the waking plane is coming back to being the pure consciousness that you are. In other words, you are the witnessing consciousness. The moment you are the witnessing consciousness, at that very moment, the impact of the waking, the dream, and the deep sleep becomes null and void. Impact here means before you were considering yourself to be the waking eye or the dream eye or the deep sleep eye, now you are considering because of the purification, because of the self-focus, self-awareness. Now you are considering yourself to be the witness eye. And when this knowledge sprouts within you, when this condition, as if you find yourself observing everything, that very moment, the impact of the waking world and the waking experience, the impact of the dream world and the dream experience, and the impact of the deep sleeper and the absence, experience of absence, all this becomes nullified. They have lost their meaning so far as the pure existence is concerned. Such a person, once the wave has become or merged or has realized that it is the water, that very moment, the importance of it being a wave becomes nullified, becomes neutralized. Same way, when we come to be the witnessing consciousness or the pure eye, at that very moment, all the three states become null and void. See, this was the first example. Another example, कि शिसे वीण येके दाविली राज्य करितो रंके तैसीच तिये सतुके आथी काई. Suppose in a dream one sees that two headless persons talk between themselves, that a pauper is ruling the kingdom. Can it be taken as real? Suppose one has a dream which has two persons without heads are talking about a pauper ruling the kingdom. How absurd it would seem. In the same way, any talk about good or bad experiences in the relative plane of triputis, that is waking, dream and deep sleep, etc., has no meaning at all. Why? Because all opposites is equal to these three experiences. In a nutshell, waking and dream are the manifest and the deep sleep is the unmanifest. Waking and dream are made up of all duality, likes, dislike, existence, non-existence, chit, achit, happiness, grief, etc., etc. All opposites cancel each other. And therefore, here the teacher is telling that just like the example taken was of the two headless people talking about a poor person ruling a kingdom. As foolish as that sounds, that foolish it sounds to a person who is established in the self, is or a Mahatma or a Sant, when people talk about that they have to do this, they have to achieve that, they have to get these children married, they have to good health or bad health, etc., etc., etc. All the talk of the world, all the talk of the body, all the talk of their experiences, all the talk of the past or the future is as foolish as two headless people. Who are these two headless people? These two headless people are the waker and the dreamer. They are the two headless people. such experiences are seen in the dream are unreal in the dream state itself, and equally unreal when one comes out of the dream state. As fascinating as they may sound, as they may seem in the dream, but we don't take them to be real. Either we get scared of them, or we enjoy, or we take it to be real while in the dream. But the moment we wake up, we know it is unreal. Then why can't we make up our mind that everything that is coming and going is unreal? Only once. Then this entanglement in the waking world will immediately, instantaneously drop away. ते निद्रा जेव्हा नाही तेव्हा जो जैसा जिये ठाई तैसाची स्वप्नी काही न दाविजेची की. In the absence of the sleep, the person is where he was. Due to the dream, he has neither gained anything nor lost anything. When the dream is over, the individual wakes up and finds himself in the bed as he had been lying all along. He realizes that all those experiences of being taken somewhere in a vehicle, palanquin, etc., or of two headless persons discussing about a poor man being the king were unreal, even in the dream, and even more so in the waking state. In the same way, in the pure self, various experiences carry no meaning at all. And here we will go ahead with the examples, but remember, when such statements are made, that in the same way, in the pure self, various experiences carry no meaning at all. So does it mean that I just make merry, enjoy myself in this world? Yes, but righteously. Does it mean that I go into depression because there is no meaning of this world? This world is not there, but my eyes are seeing, my ears are hearing. No meaning. Yes, there is no meaning. This feeling of sadness or self-pity or depression comes because we are not inquiring correctly. Here we are not here to assess whether the world is real or not. We are here to come to be the pure existence, pure consciousness that we are. From pure consciousness point of view, if there is a point of view, this statement is correct. And if this is the state which the masters, the saints and sages have realized, then you also work towards it. Then you also see where your approach towards the world is wrong. What are the conclusions that you have come in your life? What convictions you have in your life which are detrimental to abidance in the truth, to being the truth at this moment while you are listening? What is the presupposition? It could be that you are considering yourself as a waker, and you are the waker who is, as a waker, you are listening now. Second option is that you have a conviction that only by Shravanam sadhana can happen, go further. After Shravanam there is Mananam and Nididhyasanam, and then I have to go through this process only then. And therefore, third, oh, I have done so many sins and I have done so many wrong things and I have to absolve myself all those, and the only way to do that is come to the satsang and absolve myself, and so on. Get out of all this, man. These are only your projections of the mind. And when you are in the world, such doubts, such questions, they are natural. We told you before, the mind only goes into regrets and anxieties. Regrets of the past, anxieties of the future. Get out of it. Accept that you are the pure consciousness, and again attempt to look at the world from being the pure I, from being the witnessing consciousness. In the same way, the pure self, various experiences carry no meaning at all. Still another example is taken. Tan helaya mrugatrushna na bhetalya sina zana ma bhetalaya kona kaya bhetale. He says, if a thirsty person does not get mirage water, he gets upset even if he gets it. What does he really get? in the deserts, if a person is thirsty and he walks and he is looking for the water and he sees the water, but what he has actually seen is a mirage, but he thinks it is real. And when he reaches that mirage waters, comes close to it, can he drink the water? No. Exactly the same way. This whole world is a mirage. And we are aspiring to become one with it. And we want to drink it, we want to experience it, we want to own it. Just like that thirsty person who could not drink the waters of the mirage, understand, as much as you may try, you cannot possess this world, you cannot make this world your own. This world meaning all the objects, space, time, objectivity, all possessions and relations. You cannot make them your own, as much as you may try. Just like that thirsty person cannot drink the water, you also can never satisfy yourself by interacting, running after the world. Whether in the waking, whether in the dream, or in the deep sleep, you can never be satisfied. This is the basic premise. Accept or don't accept, up to you. Nobody is forcing you. But this is the basis. If you are a seeker of the truth, if you want to come to know come to be the pure I, then this realization must come. A person who is very thirsty runs to collect mirage waters to quench his thirst, but he is unable to do so and will continue to feel thirsty. If another person who even succeeds in collecting a glass full of mirage waters, will he be able to quench his thirst? In either case, the thirst will not be quenched, as mirage water is unreal. The thirst remains unchanged. In other words, even after you buy the land, you buy the house, you buy the shares, you get married, you have children, you travel all around the world. Why? Because you wanted to be complete. Your attention is on the more experiences I collect, the more full I will be, the more complete I will be. But the truth is, you are collecting experiences of mirage waters, thinking that they will satisfy you. You have lived your whole life from childhood till today. Have you become satisfied? Have you become contented? Have we? We're still running. Now is the time to take the name of the Lord. We're still running. We're still running after money. We are still running after relationships. We are still running after possessions. We are still running after experiences. We are still running after sleep towards sleep every night. Assess yourself. Once only you have to assess. Genuinely. And satsang is a place where assessment is done for you. But now at least be available. If you seek to be complete, running after the world is not going to make you complete. In the same way, the thirst is unchanged. In the same way, whether the waking plane is continued for a shorter or longer duration, the pure consciousness continues to be in the presence or in the absence of the waking plane of consciousness. So is the case with the dream and deep sleep states. Fearlessness comes only when one is associated with the undying principle that is our essential nature. This is what Lord Krishna pointed out to the grieving Arjuna. So before the waking, the witness was. During the waking, the witness is. After the waking, witness continues. Before the dream, the witness was. During the dream, witness is. After the dream is over, the witness continues. So also for the deep sleep. So this witnessing consciousness that I am is a continuous principle. That which has got no break. That which is not temporary, that which is by nature infinite, by nature the substratum. Only that which is continuous without a break can give you the fulfillment and contentment. And we are running after the waking, the dream, and the deep sleep. How can they? They are the mirage. And once this clicks, abhayata comes, fearlessness comes. When we want to fill ourselves up and make ourselves complete by the world, from the world, and we are not able to do it, then fear comes. Will my children love me when I grow up? When I get old, will they take care of me? So, in that expectation, you take care of them now. Will I have food to eat? In that expectation, we do dana now, donation now, or collect enough money now. This is all due to fear. Fear of survival. But once you recognize you are the substratum, the pure I, fear just is kicked out of your system, out of your mind. Because no duality. I am the undying, that which cannot be burnt, which cannot be cut into pieces. This atman I am, the eternal, pervasive, unchanging, immovable. He is fearless who has vairagya, dispassion about where absolute vairagya comes under two conditions. So when here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying the fearlessness comes, this fearlessness will only come to a person who is nirlipta from the world, being unattached to the world. The technical word is vairagya. I think I have already mentioned the two reasons, but let's see. When one knows that the triputi is dependent on me, but I am not dependent on them. This is the first way of coming to have dispassion or detachment from the world. that the triputi is dependent on me, I am not dependent on the triputi. Meaning, the thought is dependent on me, the waking, dream, and deep sleep experiences are dependent on me, but I am not dependent on them. And the second reason, when one knows that the reality in me, when one knows that the reality in the triputi is I and not the triputi. So this requires very intuitive disposition. When one knows that the reality in the triputis, reality in the triputi means the existence of the triputi, the consciousness of the triputi, is the triputi, is the thought, is the waker waking world and the waking experience, or the dreamer dream world and the dream experience, or the sleep, are they existing outside of me, or are they existing in me? When we come to realize that the self alone is the substratum, is the material, it is out of the self alone that the triputis have burst forth, and into the self alone that the triputis get dissolved back into. Right now our attention is on the subject, the object, and the instrument of knowledge. 3. Triputi. When your attention is on the self, then you realize the subject is also because of the self, the object is also nothing but the self, and the instrument of knowledge is also nothing but the self. The birth of the triputi is nothing but the self. The conclusion of the triputi is also nothing but the self. And in between, whatever that triputi was expressing as, that is also nothing but the self. When this realization happens, then our entanglement in the world is reduced. Either you listen to this again and again and convince yourself, and conviction will not happen until your mind is not focused, until your mind is not introspective. See, all this, what is we are reading, has to happen on the seat of meditation. Then the correct analysis can happen. With the eyes open, with all the senses open, we are continuously hijacked by something or the other. Very difficult. Become quiet first. Be in silence. Be in meditation. Withdraw your senses, or let them happen. If you are attentive towards the self, they will automatically happen. And in this way, these are the two conditions under which vairagya happens. When the triputi is clearly seen to be not real, one does not run away from it. One learns to cope with it with love, if possible. If not, at least with a cheerful acceptance. Will the portrait fight with the artist? Will I, the experiencer, fight with the substratum supporting me and my experiences? What capacity has the portrait to fight with the artist? Just be. then as an individual, till we do not get established in the witnessing, intellectual conviction has come that I am not the triputi, I am the substratum. Intellectual conviction. Intellectual conviction doesn't mean that the world has stopped. World continues. Your roles also continue. Then what to do? Accept everything with a as it is. Don't react. The more you react, the more we give momentum to the world. The less we react, the momentum of the world starts dissolving. And here the same thing is said, don't run away from the triputis. Running away from the triputis is taking drinks, taking drugs, going to sleep all the time, running away from responsibilities, your duties, etc., etc. Then one learns to cope with it with love. Accept. See the joke in the whole thing. Wherever life has placed you, whether as a grahastha, as a sannyasi, as a father, mother, daughter, sister, any role that you're, don't become the role. Remain as the witness and see the fallacy of the role. And play the game. Play the game. Don't become too serious about it. If not, at least with cheerful acceptance. So either learn to cope with it with love or just laugh it away, whatever, whether things are conducive or not conducive, laugh them away. Will the portrait fight with the artist? We saw this. Will I, the experiencer, fight with the substratum supporting me and my experiences? Will the wave fight with the water? Does it have the capacity to fight with the water? Will the ornament fight with the gold? Go, कट्टी हो गई तुम्हारे से. I will not talk to you. Arey, you can't even that is because there is gold there. And people say, I am angry with the God, I will not speak to the God, I will not take the name of the Lord because this happened, that happened. हैसियत क्या है यार? This joy of being once discovered deprives one of speech. This amrutanubhava cannot be transferred to another through words. Okay. Once this is discovered, once this click comes within, and that itself is the nectar of immortality, the Amrutanubhava. And no knowledge, just like no knowledge. Example, if I have eaten a chocolate, I cannot transfer that experience of chocolate to another person through words. I may write a PhD on it, but I cannot transfer that experience. That other person has to also taste the chocolate. Then only both are on the same page. Exactly the same way. When one has experienced this nectar of knowledge, Amrutanubhav, it cannot be transferred in whichever way. Not by touch, Shakti path cannot transfer. Speech cannot transfer. No, but we see it happens to people. Oh yes, it happens temporarily. But it will never remain complete. It only goes there because of the sankalpa of the teacher, of the Mahatma. But for a short moment. You have to grab it or you have to dive into it by yourself. Nobody else can make it happen for you. Once established in this pure existence, one is ashamed to talk of the petty problems of life. Nay, there are no problems left to talk about. So, Once we have come to this realization that we are the substratum, we have it. The Amrutanubhava has clicked within us. Once the wave, for the wave, it has clicked that it is water. Will it talk about wave and the ocean? Will it talk about cause and effect? Will it talk about the various waves, the duality of the world, the multiplicity of the waves? Will it talk about birth and death? Will it talk about all other waves pushing it to the shore and plotting against it? All this is the language of the world. The world itself becomes null and void. What to talk after that? There is no speech required. Nay, there are no problems left to talk about, because clicking of this Amrutanubhava means a homogeneous, the seeker now has experienced directly the homogeneous mass of consciousness that is. I can't say that he or she is, because again we are going into duality. That is. In this divine vision, the individuality gets dissolved. How many waking states and dream states have come and gone? All that has as little meaning as the mirage water has in satiating the thirst. So, the journey of our life is the individuality must dissolve and allow the infinity to express. Oh, but you said infinity is always expressing. Pure consciousness is always expressing. Yes, it is continuously expressing. But right now, you are not experiencing that pure consciousness that you are, because of the individuality. Individuality means giving validity to duality. Individuality means getting attached to the body. All this must dissolve. And once this is dissolved, thinking in the way the Jnaneshwar Maharaj is putting forth here, then we realize that there is no ignorance, there is no maya, there is no fulfillment possible in this world, because we are of the nature of fulfillment itself. Our full nature of fulfillment, of bliss, of knowledge is borrowed by the words, borrowed by the experiences. Not the other way, that we have to interact with the world in order to grab the fulfillment, to achieve fulfillment, to be happy. No, we are of the nature of happiness. So let the waking, dream and deep sleep states come and go. I continuously remain the same. And just like the mirage waters have got no meaning, similarly, this mirage of the waking, dream and deep sleep also has no meaning whatsoever from the pure consciousness point of view. One more example of the fallacy of the knower known duality is given. की सावलीचे निव्याजे मेळविले जेणे दुजे तयाचे करणे वांझे झाले जैसे. If one counts on the company of one's own shadow, it is meaningless and futile. Can one say that he has the company of his own shadow on the long and lonely journey? The shadow is independent on him and not vice versa. Exactly the same way. The shadow is the mind. And we are living in the mind, as the mind, on everybody's mind. Stupidity. Shadow is equal to mind is dependent on the origin of the shadow. Whose shadow? The shadow of the self is the mind. In the same way, the trio is dependent on the pure self and not the self on the trio. This is your correct position. The position of trio has as little validity and meaning as the statement that my shadow is my companion. It is frivolous statement and does not carry any meaning. See, all these examples are not given to just time pass हो रहा है. Time pass तो हो रहा है, no doubt. But think about it to ascertain who you really are. Very nice to listen to Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Remain silent. I want to be like Ramana Maharishi. अपनी औकात देखो. Assess yourself. Are you for 2 minutes you cannot sit quietly? Continuously some good is going on in your mind. Understand. Understand and drop. Understand and come to be. And frankly, if we remain listening without any biasness, if we remain listening, truly listening, then while listening itself, the click takes place. The thought exemplified by the above example is concluded, that of the mirage and etc. and the waking dream and deep sleep being on like the mirage. तैसे दृश्ये करूनिया ते दृष्टया ते दृष्टया दाऊनी धाडिले वाया दाविले पणही. Similarly, the witness has created the scene for itself to see and thus became a seer. This seeing is meaningless indeed because the seer and the seen are not different in essence. So I am the seer, the subject, and this world is the seen, the object. Who is this seer? Where did it come from? From the witnessing consciousness, the pure consciousness. Where did the seen come from, the whole world? From the pure consciousness. So just like that Parabrahma, Paramatma himself divided as if itself into two, Ishvara and a Prakriti, exactly the same way this witnessing consciousness, the pure consciousness that I am, itself as if is dividing itself into subject and object and instrument of knowledge. And this is going on continuously. Nobody can stop it. Common man, normal man who is not a seeker, he does not think in this manner. Now that we are spiritually inclined, we want to know ourselves. Now, this is the data. What are you going to do with this data? One option, oh, this is too much, leave it. Not my cup of tea. Second, oh, very interesting data. I think it will benefit many other people. Let's take it and share it with others. Another option, take this data and apply it on yourself. That nobody does. But if we apply it on ourselves, then magic. So the witnessing consciousness itself has, as if, remember, very important word, as if become the seer and the seen. So first it becomes the seen and it takes the role of the seer. See. Similarly, the knowership created in the self in the form of knower-known duality is of no avail in the pure self, because this knower-known duality cannot exist independent of the pure self. Knower-known duality, the seer, seen, hearer, heard, husband, wife. Husband, wife have got no meaning if the man is not there. Seer, seen has got no meaning if life is not there. Subject, object have no meaning if the witness is not there. See, they cannot impact the witness. The husband cannot impact the man. He is permanent. He is continuous. If one tries to infer the presence of the pure self with reference to the triputi, drashta drishya darshanam, then one is likely to fail into fallacious trap of believing that it is the drishya that gives validity to the drashta. See, if we are coming to this conclusion that the witness is because of the triputi, or we make this attempt that because triputi is there, therefore the witness is there, then in that sense, the fallacy here is because there is drishya, the object, therefore the witness is there. Now witness has become dependent on the drishya padartha, the object, but that is not the truth. When this type of approach is taken, where the drishya padartha, the object, because there is an object, therefore I am the witness, and if there is no object, then I am a lost soul. Then there is fear. It will be like that if you go in this direction. So our approach should be that the witness itself is expressing as the subject and the object, the triputi. The knower and the known both are expressions of this witness, as if. But inversely, it can lead to fear, it can lead to confusion, it can lead to doubt. Therefore, though these various examples explained in the above several OVs, Jnanadeva is trying to eliminate this validity. We may see the reflection of the face in the mirror, but the face does not depend on upon the reflection to authenticate its existence. So, witness does not need subject and object to be the witness. Witness is independent, witness is self-existing, witness is self-conscious. It does not, just like your face does not need a mirror in order to exist. Whether the mirror is there or not there, the face is still there. You have no doubt that you have a face. Exactly the same way, or even more than that, the witnessing consciousness is self-existing. It does not require the reflection. What is the reflection here? The knower and the known. It does not require the reflection in order to exist. It is independent. It is existing independently. The dream experiences, the mirage waters and the shadow as companion all reinforce the same point, namely, what is dependent has no value apart from the independent substratum. So all these few examples which we saw, 2 verses on the dream experience, then 2 verses on the mirage waters, and then the shadow example, and previously we saw the mirror example also. All of them show us that that which is dependent The mirror by itself cannot show you a shadow or show you the reflection. The original face has to be there in order for the reflection to be there, and so forth. So the mirror, the reflection has got no independent existence. It is dependent on the original. Exactly same way, the shadow has got no independent existence. It is dependent on the person, and so on. And in this way, to that all that which is dependent cannot be independent of the substratum, the witnessing consciousness. Substratum is the basis. Whether it is water, whether it is gold, whether it is the original face, whether it is the person. And what is dependent? The reflected face, the shadow, see, the triputi. To give attention to the reflection, to the triputi, beyond requirement is to misunderstand the truth totally. Truth cannot be known through the triputis. Truth is independent of the triputi. This is the basic premise. You cannot argue with this. There is no discussion about this. You are independent, full stop. You are all pervasive, full stop. Oh, let me think. Let me find my own truth. Go take a hike. Misunderstanding of the truth happens when we try to understand the truth through words, through experiences. And that is not the right way. Experiences are because of the substratum. Thinking is happening because of the pure consciousness or the witnessing consciousness that I am, not the other way. The only focus of attention should be the pure consciousness because of which the triputi or duality is expressed. So you don't have to think to be. You don't have to think to be. Thinking is taking place in the waking and the dream. And thinking is taking place in the waking and the dream. And thinking is not taking place in the deep sleep. So both the experiences of thinking and non-thinking, manifestation of thought and non-manifestation of thought, is dependent on the witness, and that witness I am, the pure consciousness. In my presence, these thoughts are, the triputi is appearing and the triputi is disappearing. Whether you take it as the three states or you take it as each individual triputi coming, then the gap, then another one coming, then again gap, then another coming, again gap. When we take ourselves, so recognize this, that you are that our attention, we are not saying through thought. Be attentive. Of the pure consciousness that you are. When you are listening to this satsang, your attention should be on the pure consciousness that you are. Let the ear hear the words, let the mind think the thoughts. But where is your attention? Is your attention on the person who's speaking, on the words that are being heard, or on being the consciousness that you are? Where is your attention? Where is your attentiveness? This continuous, this continuous alertness, vigilance is required. This is what is called in Bhagavad Gita, Tato Yuddhaya Yudhyasva. This is the fight. fight of not allowing ourselves to be pulled into the mirage of the mind. And not fighting with the mirage of the mind, accepting it. Yeah, it is there. But how it is there? It is there as an expression, as a vibhuti, as the glory of this consciousness that I am. So our attention should be on the consciousness, not on the vibhuti. Your attention should be on the pure consciousness, not on the triputi. And in this manner, the topic continues. For today, this is enough. The next topic is how the drishya is none other than the drishta. In other words, the subject and object, the seer and the seen are the same. They are not of different quality. We feel, oh, me the subject, I the seer, and seen is the sofa. Seen is the cushion, seen is the person. I am different to that. I am a living, sofa is dead, it is inert. Or I am this body and she is that body. Two different personalities. Where is your attention? On the mirage, on the specific I. So here the topic will take next week is how the drishya, the object that is seen, is none other than the drashta, the seer. So the material out of which the seer is made and the seen is made is one and the same. The wave is looking at another wave and she says, oh, I am different, I am more beautiful, I am so intelligent, this other one is stupid. But what is the material which is gone into making the wave number 1 and the wave number 2? Is the same. Do we have this vision? Do we have this eye of seeing the oneness in and through everything? If you attempt, you will go quiet. There's nothing to speak after that. But we'll explore that in our next class. Explore not the logic of it. We'll explore the self through the logic. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sit quietly for a moment.